Welcome to the Jayhawk Theatre. A place once filled with world-class entertainment is now, according to some, filled with paranormal activity. The theater's old walls of steel and concrete contain stories of love, joy, and standing ovations. It also contains stories of love, lust, and death, and possibly the souls of those that experience these wonderful and tragic events. The Jayhawk Theatre opened to much fanfare in 1926. Billed as the first air-conditioned building in Topeka, the 1,500-seat theater required no ceiling supports to obscure the audience's view. Its domed roof twinkled with stars. Performers' dressing rooms were under the large stage, and its lighting console was considered the largest in the Midwest. The theater saw the likes of Gypsy Rose Lee and Bob Hope grace its stage. But over time, the Jayhawk Theater's influence waned. Entertainment could be found at newer, more updated venues. So the audience left, taking with them the experiences of a generation. But some believe certain things still remain.
As a medium, I have the privilege of being able to feel and see things that most people can't. And the Jayhawk Theatre is very spirit-filled. I believe it's one of the most haunted places in Kansas. I would go back there any day, and with the opportunity of being able to be in the midst of the spirit that is generated in the Jayhawk Theatre. It's a beautiful place for spirit and for human energy.
I have many tours in many cities, and there's usually a theater in every tour city that I have a ghost tour on. Theaters are just inevitably haunted. It's the passion of the actors, the striving to be successful, the competition, and let's face it, there's a lot of accidents, murders, freaky electrocutions, people falling off catwalks, and the Jayhawk is no exception. The first time I ever walked into the Jayhawk, first of all, you got to think, it's so grand, built in the 1930s, and just all the architectural elements, and it's so beautiful and so majestic, but then what a history. And the very first time I walked into the Jayhawk Theatre, you could definitely feel an energy. I didn't feel like it was a negative energy, but I felt like there was an abundance of energy, and I couldn't wait to ghost hunt. And then the more I find out about the history and the stories, and then it's like, well, that explains a lot, and this is just another theater that has had a lot happening over time.
We have seen lots of different signs of paranormals. We've had curtains move on our security cameras. We've had lights and props out in our main theater that have shifted spots on the tables, especially when we know there's nobody else in here to move them. We have seen orbs on the security cameras. We've seen movement, or I've seen movement up in the balcony with our what we believe is Our Lady in White. There was one night when I was closing down the theater by myself. I was the only one here. And sometimes when I'm here getting things closed up by myself, I sing a song just to kind of distract myself. And the song that I was singing, apparently the ghost or the spirit on the stage, Mr. Grumps, as we so lovingly call him, did not approve. And in that time, as I was singing and getting across the stage, he was over my shoulder and made a very disgruntled, grumbling noise of disapproval of the song that I was singing. So at that point, I quickly wrapped up and got everything locked up and left.
I believe that spirits at one time walked the physical world. And when I see a negative spirit, most of the time it's because they've been through something negative in the physical world.
I'm a ghost hunter that it takes a lot to scare me, but I have been unnerved a few times. Years ago, my first ghost hunt at the Jayhawk, I happened to be on under the stage area. Everybody's in place as far as our ghost hunting team. And me as a ghost hunter, I'm very skeptical. But when I heard actual footsteps walking across the stage, I was definitely a believer. That's very unusual. That is a strong energy. I believe that up a little further up on the stage area, we were definitely picking up activity of another female. We feel like that she was in a spirit that was in turmoil, that she was not happy to be there. It's almost like she was trying to evade us. She'd hit our equipment, meaning, you know, our K2s or our equipment would go off, and then it's like she was off hiding.
I have witnessed quite a few things in person and on camera. I was finishing up arranging seats for a film we were going to show, and I took a picture of the theater, and I was shocked by what I saw, completely blown away. When I looked at the picture, I noticed a silhouette of a white woman sitting in one of the chairs I had just finished setting up.
People ask me all the time if there's a mean or negative spirit, like they're pushing, they're throwing things, they're putting off a negative energy. They ask me, is that a demon? And 99% of the time it's not a demon, but I explain to people, if you have a really hateful, nasty, sad person in real life, that's how they're going to be as a ghost. Or there could be a situation where it really is a dark entity and they are targeting people.
I had a dream last night, and I was coming up these stairs, and when I got to the top of the stairs, I looked to the left, and I was just drawn to these stairs over here. I saw the balcony, and you know, I don't know if anything ever happened in this balcony. At the bottom of the first row, the closest row towards us, I feel like somebody might have tumbled. And there was a person that had just been sitting over here, and she got up, and it seemed like there was another woman coming down the stairs here.
Oh, behind her.
And for some reason, I don't know if this person lost their balance and went over the side, but it's really crazy that it just almost makes me sick at my stomach. But the other thing that I just realized is when our ghost hunting team was here, one of our investigators was overcome, and I almost truly believe that she was sitting right below this balcony where these stairwells come down, and she was sweating profusely and very, very, very sick. And she kept saying, something has overcome me. You know, she's like, her husband, she was like, you got to get me out of here.
My name is Kim Runnels Oliver. In the paranormal world, I'm an empath and a sensitive. The Jayhawk Theatre has been known for decades as a historical part of Topeka. And so a group that I belonged to at that time went to investigate. So we all set up our equipment and our cameras, and we started walking around. and just feeling the theater and everything that it was creating. Upstairs, you could smell popcorn, even though none had been popped in a very long time, but you could smell it. And down on where the theater seats used to be was concrete at that time, because the theater was in renovations. While I was taking pictures, I sensed a cold coming up and over me. So this cold was very bitter, like a deep freeze. And I lost my breath. I got very weak, and my husband grabbed me, and he could not warm me up. Imagine you're a kid and you grab the electric fence your grandparents told you not to touch, and the voltage going through you with polar ice hitting at the same time. That is what hit me that night. Electrical charge, horrific blizzard cold temperature. And there was nothing around me to cause it. There was no air vents anywhere. The air was actually quite still through the whole entire investigation until that very moment. Nobody else experienced it that night but me.
She had to eventually leave because she was very ill. And on our recorder, I got an EVP after this was found out later that said, "Not Vicky."
Timer.
Yeah. Was it? Did you feel that way about the time I said take pictures? You can also hear on the EVP that following where it says "Not Vicky," you can hear where I say, "Well, did it happen? After?" Or I said, "Start taking pictures," and you can definitely tell the difference between the spirit voice and our voices, because our voice was kind of echoey. So yeah, that was a really scary night.
My husband, who was an EMT at that time, went to go get his EMS blanket, and he brought it in and wrapped it around me, and it wasn't helping. We could not get me to warm up. My fellow investigators checked on me to make sure I was going to be all right, and eventually we just got me out of the building. Upon that moment we left the building, things got better and the cold went away. I have never experienced anything like that before or after. And the EVP, it says, "Not Vicky." So they were protecting her.
Timer.
Yeah. Was it? Did you feel that way about the time I said take pictures?
And I don't understand what I did to get put on the hit list, but it hit me, and it hit me good, and I've never forgotten it since. The Jayhawk, it has good things, but it has dark things. And I don't want to mess with the dark ever again.
With the dark energy of the Jayhawk, the only thing that I can truly say is I know our investigator went in and she was absolutely fine. And within a short amount of time of her taking pictures, fell very ill. And then to get an EVP saying your name in a gruff, rough way, it sure makes you wonder.
You will hear voices, you will hear footsteps across the stage. I myself, in an investigation, happened to be under the stage and heard ghostly footsteps, disembodied sounds of somebody walking across the stage. I found out the basement is a speakeasy. So Keith, I know that you're gonna be in the basement with Angela, so you're going to maybe experience weird smells, like the smell of alcohol, the smell of cigars. If there's weird light flickering going on, Definitely use all your equipment in the best way that you can. So right now, I think we can gather all our equipment and then go to our assigned areas. All right, there you go. Shamin, do you know how to use the mag flashlights for communication? Ashley, do you want to take one of the light up fishing bobbers? Okay. Megan. If there's any spirits here, can you pass by this green light? Can you take it up to red? I won't hurt you. Some of the main equipment that we use is K2 meters, picks up electromagnetic fields. You might ask a spirit, pass by this green light. If that starts flashing different colors or going up to red, that's most likely a ghost of some kind. I'm going to grab my spirit board and see if I can get any readings. A spirit board is simply a communication tool. I have a round little board. It has yes, no, it has letters, it has some numbers. It's blessed board, and it's a communication tool. I'm not trying to conjure up Uncle Bob or Uncle Bobo. It's just I want to find out more details on who is haunting that location. Are you a female? All right, you're doing a good job of figuring out how this works. All right, center.
There's some sort of energy that is able to move them. And there again, scientifically, we don't have proof. And that's what we're out to do, is try to get some sort of proof. And pendulums, are a great tool.
Last letter, okay. I'm sorry that happened to you. So you died in an accident? Can you center, please? Did you die in an accident here at the Jayhawk? Were you the lady that was sitting in the front row? A ghostly lady had her picture taken recently. Was that you? Okay. Are you the only spirit here right now?
Anything in here? I'll come over here on this. Can you finish this? Right now, just walking around, getting the feel of location. So this was a speakeasy at one time. Set up a few devices.
So if something comes close to that, it'll set it off.
Same with all the little motion balls. If something, they'll be sitting perfectly still and we ask them to go over there and light them up, they'll light them up without any movement.
When I answer, just touch one of the devices and make it light up. It won't hurt you. It's just sound and lights.
So maybe if you're down here, run over to this other one. Light it. Oh.
There's a hallway that goes into the boiler room, and there's a lot of limestone, and a lot of times they feel that spirit energy or something is drawn to limestone. So that walk between the dressing rooms to the boiler room is something I don't do real slowly.
Can you uncross for me, please? Uncross.
I was getting something kind of right back behind you.
On the stage, the energy up there is beautiful.
Another strange occurrence, one of the most shocking that I have ever seen, is when I got an alert on our security camera that there was motion inside our main theater, specifically on our stage. When I looked at the video, I noticed the center curtains parting as if someone was standing behind them. However, there is nothing behind those curtains except a brick wall. I was frightened and shocked to see something so obvious on a camera that could not be explained by vents or drafts or someone simply moving the curtain.